good, man.
What's good, Chick?
Just wanted to get your overall thoughts on the weigh-in and Gervonta and Isaac. It seemed like a pretty intense stare down and just a small, minor shove. Nothing personal, it seemed, but just seems like they're ready to fight.
It's personal. It's personal because I think that Tyson wants to show that he came to fight, and anybody doubting that he came to fight, he's going to show it right now that he's ready to go. On the other side of that, you know, Tank is not somebody that you can push around, so we're looking for an exciting fight on Fight Night.
Does that interaction tell you something about either fighter? That interaction that you just saw on stage?
Yeah, we got a fight on our hands.
Okay.
It's not going to be no walking apart for Tank, but his preparation has been tremendous, and I was right there to see for the last month of it every day, and his preparation has been tremendous. It's been second to none, and I'm sure he's going to be successful in this fight.
Seeing the fact that the lightweight division had a lot of like shifts, and JoJo's fighting Devin and Kambosos, the new lightweight. I guess I wanted to get your thoughts on the Kambosos win over Teofimo.
I didn't see the fight.
Okay.
And it's I won't say I don't even know what the word I'm looking for here. I'll just say it exactly what it was. I was in camp with Teo back in the summer and had one of my guys respond with Teo to get ready for Kambosos. And Teo was looking really good, and the fight got canceled. But before the fight got canceled, I was actually in Florida and got a chance to come over and see Kambosos, right? So I got a chance to see him in camp as well and meet him and see what he was doing in camp. And it wasn't, you know, a situation where I was talking to either guy to give any, you know, insight of what was going on or anyone, but I got a chance to see that. And so I was looking forward to this fight, and then it got canceled. Then it got rescheduled. Then it got canceled. Then it got rescheduled. Then it got canceled. I don't know how many times that particular fight got shut down. And I think what may have happened on Fight Night with Teo is this prolonged layoff, this, you know, we on, we off, we on, we off. This promoter's doing it, that promoter's doing it, this date. I think that might have really caused him some distractions. And at the time when I was in camp with him, he was looking fabulous. His dad was doing a fabulous job with him. And, you know, this decision didn't go his way. And I know he's coming back from this. He's going to come back even better.
Though this fight didn't have any postponements or changes in the dates, it did have a change in fighter. From a trainer's perspective, when you change the fighter, how does that impact the training process, the camp?
We had a discussion about that. It didn't last very long. It's like basically, you know, Calvin welcomed me in to work. Barry, of course, him and I already worked together. And we all put our heads together and said, okay, we changing up. What do we need to do? And I said, well, let me make some quick suggestions. We were all in agreement. We came together. As Barry said, there were no egos. There was no, you know, I'm taking the lead. I'm going to do this. You do what I say. Nothing like that. Everybody worked together as a cohesive unit. It was a pleasure working with Calvin every day. It was obviously a pleasure working with Barry. Barry and I are about to do something that I've never done or haven't seen anybody else doing boxing. Next year, him and I will be working together for 25 years.
Oh, wow.
People just think we just met or something,
right,
because they only see what they see on TV for that little small period of time. But when the opponent got changed, we just came together, and the suggestions from everybody just came together. It meshed, and we changed a few things up. We changed the training location. We took it up higher in the mountains. We went 9,500 feet up. I even pushed Tank one day. I said, hey, let's go 10,000. And he looked at me, and he looked at Barry, and he said, let's go.
Let's go.
And he did it. And that's the first time I've seen someone say, oh, I'm already at 9,500. You want me to go higher? Let's go. He did that. So, you know, no matter how high this kid goes in this fight, meaning, you know, the opponent, no matter how high, I know that Tank can climb that much
He can take
higher.
it to a different level.
Absolutely.
Gotcha. If I may go back to the fight with your son and Terrence Crawford. After the fight, you mentioned, like, it was the preparation that you saw as an issue going into that fight.
Mm-hmm.
When you notice that leading into the fight,
Yeah.
how are you feeling on fight night? Are you trying to implement a change, or is it too late there at that time to kind of speak on the changes that you see that need to be made?
Well, yeah, it's too late at that point.
Okay.
It's too late at that point for anybody to change anything. You come with what you came with, and if your guns are loaded, you firing off.
Gotcha.
If you're not loaded somewhere and you shoot,
you don't got it to shoot.
You ain't got it, right?
Yeah. Okay.
In this particular situation, without getting into too many details.
I want to get into the details.
Yeah,
Come on,
yeah.
Ken. Don't cut me off so soon, man.
No. I can't get into the details because, that's my son.
Yeah.
More than anything else, that's my son. So October 20th, 1987, Sean was born. I was his father. He was my son. He was not a boxer. I was not a trainer. I was training people, but
Right.
no, I was still boxing at the time. I was boxing at the time. Hey, so that's who he was. November 20th, 2021, he retires. He's my son again. I'm his father. There is no more father. There's no more trainer and boxer with me and him. Right. He's just my son again. Gotcha. So in that particular situation, when I say things in the preparation, there were things that I would notice that other people wouldn't notice.
Certainly.
Because I've been around him all his entire life. There were things that I seen that other people didn't see. So I was keen to that. My eyes were aware of that. My ears were aware of that. And I'm listening and I'm watching and I'm seeing. And so the most key thing that stood out of everything else, the kid had over 275 amateur fights. He's never been put down, right? Then we get to the pros, and he's never been off his feet, right? In a professional fight, we had Errol Spence knocked down where his glove touched the ground. We did have a flash with Adrian Broner, but he was coherent, looked at me, and we knew where we were at. The most telling thing here is he went down twice in one round. That's never happened before. That's something that I, as a trainer, have to look at and say, what's going on here? Something's wrong. Something's not right. So he wasn't able to, in my eyes, fix that in that small period of time that he had. I had to fix that. I had to make that call.
Clearly, you have more experience in this game than I do.
Of course.
So when I'm looking at the fight and I watch him go down the second time, and then he pounds his fist on the ground, to me that was saying, damn it, I got caught. I shouldn't have got caught with that.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. Clearly, you saw something different. Tell us what you saw in that moment, other than he never went down twice in a round.
In that moment, I saw him not being able to control what was going on. He wasn't able to compartmentalize where he was at, have his head clear to prepare for what was about to come. We're in there with a sharpshooter. The sharpshooter, he's not going to miss anything. He's coming. He's ready. This wasn't a fight that at given points in times they were holding each other. There were lulls in the action. This wasn't going on. These guys were boxing, and they were coming back and forth throughout the whole entire fight. If this had been a fight where I seen that one or the other had slowed down enough where they were taking time, holding each other, right? Maybe the referee had to break them apart a lot. That wasn't what was going on. So I had to make a decision based on what I saw. And the most intelligent person that I know, who's done everything you see here today, put everything you know going on here today, anything and everything that you've seen at the highest level of boxing, from Mayweather, Pacquiao to Wilder, Fury 1, 2, and 3, said to me, Kenneth, no one knows the sheep better than the shepherd.
Mm-hmm.
And what that essentially means is I've been watching this kid from birth to where he's at today. And at that point in time, I made a decision based on what was best for him.
I'm sorry, I don't want to take up everybody's time, but my question is now, does you train other fighters?
Yeah.
Do you feel that you could have been too close to that situation to make that call? I respect you for making the call. I'm just asking a question. Could you be too close to that situation to make that call and kind of pull the trigger kind of quicker than maybe necessary? Because you're right there. You've done it all. You've seen it all.
Could you have made that call?
What I'm saying is
you could not have. You
with,
could
with,
not.
with that being your son,
You no
could,
no.
could it,
you
could it
could
been
not,
too close?
listen,
Could you
listen,
have been too close to that situation?
listen,
That's all I'm saying.
You have to be close to a situation in order to understand a fight.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
All of my guys right now that I have, Sean had 36 professional fights, 31 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw. I've got a kid that's 11-0, Malik Montgomery, 10 knockouts, NABO champion at 126. I've got another kid that's 10-0 with 8 knockouts. I've got another kid that's 8-0. I've got another kid that's 4-0, and I got another kid that's 3-0. Them combined, that's 36 wins and no losses. Sean had 36 professional fighters. If you see any of my fighters, they're all going to tell you the same thing. I live in Mr. Porter's house. I sleep in Mr. Porter's house. I eat at Mr. Porter's house. I eat at Coach's house. When Coach got tired of me eating at his house and sleeping in his house, he bought another house and he put us in it. Right? We are very close. I have to be close to the situations in order to guide them through the fire they have to go through. So there is no situation that anyone could be in that they would know better than me in that particular situation. I will give you the opposite but the same with Barry Hunter and Lamont Peterson. Lamont Peterson's very last professional fight against Lipinets, I was in the corner with Barry Hunter. 6 to 7 rounds into the fight, Barry said, "Kenny, take over." I took over as trainer. He never told me this was going to happen prior to. I took over as trainer. At that point in time, I became trainer. Guess what Barry did? Barry stepped away from the situation and he watched to make sure that his fighter was safe. And Barry stepped up on the ropes, up on the apron, and he stopped the fight. I didn't even know he was about to do it. That was his call. I don't know better than Barry in that situation.
Right.
He's been with Lamont since he's 10 years old or even younger. I met Lamont when he was 10 years old.
Right.
So no one knows better than the person who is the closest. The closer you are to the situation, the better education and information you have. You wouldn't know if Sean was having situations going on at home that were bothering him.
Clearly.
You wouldn't know if Sean used the bathroom today and things didn't feel right. You wouldn't know if Sean drank well before a fight. You wouldn't know if Sean had a headache. You wouldn't know any of that.
Right, exactly. And that's what I'm asking you.
Exactly. You don't know about a corn that's on his foot. But I asked about the corn that was on his foot.
Right.
I didn't wait till fight night to ask about it. I asked about it weeks prior too.
Gotcha.
So the point I'm making is the minuscule, smallest, little, tiniest things is what's needed to be successful at the highest level.
So you can never be too close.
Never going to be too close. And the opposite of that is this. I let the fight go longer, he gets laid out, and we're talking about something different. And that's all my fault, right?
Right.
Of course.
Yeah.
But I'd rather you come at me about what I did to protect my son than what I did and my son got hurt. Because all of that would have been my fault as well.
Appreciate that, Kenny.
Yeah, if that helps you out.
No,
And if that helps out the people that are watching.
Yeah,
because I've never addressed any of these questions. I haven't looked at any of these things. I didn't read none of the comments. This is the closest I came to it.
Yeah.
Who am I speaking to right now?
Voice of the fans, Cameron Buford.
All right, Cam. I appreciate it.
Appreciate your time. Thanks for breaking it down.
Absolutely.
I came a little late, man. You might have answered this already.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Because and you know I ain't gonna walk away without
I know. No, I was just gonna say, like, I think the big testament is just the fight fans have seen you and your son go through all the fights that everyone's ever asked for, and Sean has, prevailed thick and thin through all of it. So, just I guess speaking for the fight fans, they all believe there was a huge chance for Sean to win that fight regardless of that circumstance. So obviously, we appreciate you protecting your son.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of, I'm just saying that that's just so strongly about your son's career.
Right.
And that's just kind of the love and hate that you're probably going to get because we love Sean so much. And the fights that you produced, there's 2 more rounds. We wanted to see what could have possibly happened 2 more rounds. I'm just speaking for those fight fans, but we really appreciate you just kind of looking out for your son and also doing good for boxing.
I appreciate that. I thank you. I see the relative positive of both sides of that. where there was, people that wanted to see something that they were expecting to see and thought it could happen if he had a little more time to it. Nobody wanted that more than me. Nobody wants that more than me. I do not want ever my son not to be successful in anything he's doing. If he's playing Monopoly, I'm not in the game, but I'm walking by and I'm like, dude, you need to buy that property. That's me, right? So nobody wanted that more than me. Wasn't there. Wasn't his night. Terrence Crawford was doing what he was doing, and it was up to me to make that decision. But I understand, and that's a great perspective to put it.
This is misguided. I don't want to call it misguided anger from fans, but it's just, I guess they don't know how to react with emotions when they see something like that, because it's obviously from.
I know this ain't the same thing, and I get what you're saying, but I'm big on analogies. I'm big on quotes. If you have a child, a small child, take your child to the hood, go in somebody's backyard, got a pit bull, throw your child back there. If he can't defend himself, which he cannot, against that pit bull, it's going to hurt you, right? So I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't expect nobody else to do it. I've done this for many years with that particular boxer who happens to be my son. I put him in a line of fire. I put him in situations with Errol Spence's and Keith Thurman's and Kell Brooks and Ugas's and Garcia's. I put this kid in all those situations. When this is over with, no one else has to deal with that but me. No one else has to deal with that with me. So this morning when I was getting my coffee, before I came to the fight, or came to the weigh-ins, I looked out of my kitchen window as I was getting my coffee at Sean's bedroom in it. He lives across the street from me. I don't get it no better than that. I can't get it any better than that. That's the best job I've ever had. I'm his father.
I just have one last question.
Yes.
I just want to ask.
And what's your name?
My name is Ron.
Thank you, Ron.
I was going to tell you. I was like, do you want me to get it?
Okay, that's what's happening.
I want to ask from the thing, just from what you saw from Crawford, and I guess there's this clip that showed him in like the 10th round, and they were being told that someone's up on the scorecard. And then, not saying that you had to switch, but from that point on, it was like the 10th round, that's when the knockdowns occurred. Did you see a switch from Crawford, like in that round, like picking it up and kind of?
No, I didn't see a switch. Okay. If somebody had came over to me and said, "Hey, Kenny, Sean's ahead," and the same thing that happened, I would have made that same decision. Okay. I didn't see a switch.
Okay.
Not to be negative in any type of way, but I saw Sean get caught in a situation where he had his feet squared up. It's a basic fundamental no-no. Feet were squared up, and he went down from a punch that I didn't think was the hardest punch in that situation. So no, I didn't see the switch, but it's great for TV. It's great for Terrence, and Terrence Crawford, his coach, Bomac, the rest of the coaching staff, everybody over there, they did an excellent job, as I knew they would, to get ready for Sean Porter. So, hats off to them in that situation. If they sensed something and they saw something or whatever they needed to do to motivate their guy right there, it worked out well for them.
Kenny, you're one of the few, off the top of my head, trainers that has prepared for both Spence and Crawford. Looking at both of those guys, having the up-close look at both of them like that, I don't know, give me an evaluation of both guys. Is it kind of splitting hairs as far as talent-wise with these guys?
They're two different guys. I'm not taking anything away from either guy. I think Errol's a great fighter. I've had opportunities to work with him. I've had opportunities to spend time with him. I traveled all over the world with him. Great fighter, undefeated fighter. Can't take nothing away from him in any type of way. I'm an Errol Spence fan, except on nights when he's fighting Sean Porter. Terrence Crawford, I'm in the same situation with Terrence. I traveled to Venezuela with Terrence in 2007. I've been in national tournaments with Terrence. When I see Terrence, I'm happy to see Terrence. Never thought any of those times we traveled, things we did that were totally two different weight classes, that they would ever fight each other. But it happened. So both guys got decisions. Both guys, well, one guy got a decision was stoppage, but the other guy got a decision.